Page 43, almost like a dream. Well, we'll see. If it's a dream or a nightmare, I'm not sure. At the top of the page, they're introducing a new musical symbol for you to now know and memorize and know from now on and on and on. And that is called a fermata. It is simply you holding on to the note. It's like a hold. You hang on to the note longer than its rhythm tells you to. How much longer? We don't know. There's no real rule to it. It's felt. When I do it with a metronome, I double the value of the note so I can stay with the metronome. But when you're just doing it, you feel it, how long you should hold. You get it in this piece at the very end. The last half note there has fermatas. Each note has a fermata. In other words, you would hang on to that note longer than 2 counts, because in 4/4 time here, and a half note would get 2 counts. But we'll hang on to it longer than that because of the fermata. Don't know how much longer, just longer, whatever feels right. So let's look this over. We got 4 lines long, treble and bass clef, 4/4 time signature. We got a lot of eighth notes, quarter notes, a few half notes, okay. I'm going to kind of take both hands at the same time or together, because it's just one hand or the other playing. So the left hand starts here, and the right hand is here. A 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then as I'm playing these, the second measure, I'm up here, so I'm moving. You got a fermata there too, isn't that nice? The fermatas I do when I do the articulation. Right now, forget the fermata, just 2 counts and then going on. Measure 3. Well, while you're holding that down, you got to move the left hand down because it came down here. And then you come back down here as you're playing this. And then again, as you're doing the left hand, you got to come back up here in the right hand. And then as you're holding that, you come up back up here in the left hand. So you're looking ahead to see what's there. And I need to be up here. You're just playing broken chords in the right hand instead of block chords. Measure. Here, the left hand has a rest, so you focus on getting the right hand up. Just lift up and move, and as you play that, you got to get the left hand up. You're not going very far, it's just an F sharp. You see the treble clef in the staff? This is a good example of why we check the clef signs at the beginning, because they could be anything, more or less. Here, they change the clef sign on you, and they can do that. You can change the clef sign on any staff at any time, as many times as needed. You have to be careful about that. That confuses me sometimes. I forget which clef I'm reading. Here, they gave you a treble clef. Well, in treble clef, the bottom space is an F. So a sharp in front of it makes it an F sharp. Here. I mean, normally you're accustomed to seeing the F sharp in the upper staff, but it doesn't have to be. So you're up here in the right hand, so the left hand comes up and plays that F sharp. Here. It's called a tritone. It just sounds wonderful. Part of the dream, I guess, or the nightmare. I don't know. So you work out the notes and the rhythms, and then when you're comfortable with that, no hesitations, then we'll think about the articulation, including the fermatas. We're slurring up. Just put taking a breath, a little silence. And the fermata, just hang on to that. Just listen to that, let it die away. And then do it again, next line. Hang on to that, got another fermata, and then go on. Get the idea? Then the dynamics, well, it'll be both hands here. There's no real melody to this. Moderately soft mezzo piano at the beginning, whatever you think sort of soft is. And next line, you go up a little bit to sort of loud. Just a little bit. It's not a lot of difference between moderately soft and moderately loud. Just go up a little bit. Third line is still moderately loud. You haven't gotten anything else, but then you get that hairpin. You're going to go up to loud. And then the last line, you got a hairpin to come back down. So we're going to go up to loud, but I don't want to be loud until the end of the line. So I have to plan it out. In measure 5, I'm going to stay moderately loud throughout the measure. the hair louder, hair louder. Now I'm moderately loud. So it's like every 2 beats I got a little louder there in measure 6 is all I did. Measure 7, you're loud here. Yeah, loud. You're going to come down a little bit. And then you're soft at the end. So you have to plan out these crescendos and diminuendos so it spans out. Yeah. Speed, andante. Remember, it's kind of a strolling speed, just a gentle, and it's the overall feel of it. So it doesn't have to go that fast. You go slower. Because normally I'd say, well, with the half notes, you don't want to go too slow. But when they put fermatas over it, you're hanging on to the half notes. So forget the half notes as far as figuring out how fast you're going. Just the difference between the eighth notes and the quarter notes, what feels like just a gentle stroll. And that's your speed. Now, when I play with a metronome on these fermatas, these half notes, I'm going to hold them 4 counts instead of 2, because I got to stay with the metronome. But when you're not with a metronome or something, then you would just feel it. And a little extra about fermatas. When we hear or play music, we generally feel a beat. You can feel it. You just do it. And when you're dancing, you really feel the beat, I hope. Well, even in a fermata, when you're holding on to it longer, you'll still feel a beat. And people listening to you will still feel a beat. So what usually happens is you'll hold a fermata note out a certain number of beats. You won't know how many beats you're holding it out because you're not counting them. You're not aware of it. It's like a subconscious thing, but it is happening. And what feels right was usually an even number of beats because we think 1, 2, 3, 4. We're thinking in even numbers, and that's usually what happens. Don't worry about it. It'll happen by itself. It's just an observation. Now they've added pedal, which we really need pedal on this if it's going to put the atmosphere of a dream. We want it all misty and running together. And we're going to put the pedal down at the beginning, right after you play the note, and we're going to hold it down all the way to the end, and the hands and the pedal all come up together. And that's the pedal. There's a retardando there at the bottom. You're slowing down the last line. Slow down. And get softer at the same time. It's the same as putting in a dim-E rit. Diminuendo and retardando. They gave you the retardando and then gave you the hairpin. Same difference. Let's play this together very slowly and double check our notes and rhythms. I'm not going to do the dynamics and I'm not going to do the pedal because you can hear the notes better without the pedal. And as I said, on the fermata notes, I'm going to hold them 4 counts instead of 2. So I'll give us 4 counts to come in. 1 and 2 and ready and go and. And 4 and hold and 2 and. 4 and hold and 2 and. And 4 and hold and 2 and